Fala galera, Marcelo Furlani do Omelete da CCXP aqui no Rio to See com mais um convidado especial, um dos convidados principais aqui da Rio to See, Ron Leshem. Thank you very much for your time, man.
Thank you. Thanks for this.
And you've been to Rio and to Brazil so many times. How is this time?
So usually I come as a tourist,
Okay.
but also to book fairs. My favorite book fair in the world, I think, is Recife. So I love being there, and the beaches in Florianopolis everywhere. But I mean, it's an incredible festival. I think I'm going to festivals like worldwide, and there's nothing like this. The vibe here, and it's kind of a South by Southwest, but a better version of it, and it's incredible and very inspiring. Just brainstorming with young people and both students and the industry. It's been amazing.
And what's your initial feeling with everyone that you've been talking to? How do you feel the Brazilian industry right now?
So it's strange because people are saying how the industry, at least in drama and scripted, is a bit slow right now, but it's a very strange thought because everyone who's now going around in LA, and I hear them all over the streamers, are all saying that 2026 is going to be the year of Brazil.
Oh.
And in many ways, because all the streamers, most of them know that the growth potential in Brazil for them is bigger than their growth potential in India. Let's take Netflix, for example. They have 7% here right now. They believe they can have 60%, and probably they're right. So everyone is focusing, like you've seen in the past with Korea, for example, where all the streamers said, each streamer needs 9 shows in Korea, including big ones, very big ones. So now everyone is planning to conquer Brazil. So I think you should guys be the most optimistic on the universe because most of the industry universe. But also, I'll tell you, for me, we truly have an opportunity, one, to be bold, because we're not Hollywood. Hollywood now in a very conservative, not bold place, but also because we bring a different voice, us who are creating international drama and global drama in Europe here. So we have a true chance now to be bold and to stand out when LA is not courageous enough in so many ways. So. So it was very inspiring to see so many creators here with brilliant ideas. I loved it. So.
And how do you think that we can bring the local to the universal, to the streamings, like bring the local flavors and present it to the world?
Yeah, you know how it is. The streamers are saying the more provincial you are, the more universal you are. As long as the story is very ultra local and it works in the territory, it will work worldwide. And it is true. At the same time, I believe, and not all of them believe in that, but I believe that you also can be universal in the sense that you can be even Babylonian, a story about different nationalities together. They usually don't believe in it. They want the story to be very ultra local. The question is, like, when you're doing your productions, and it's a lot about convincing filmmakers to come to television, to drama, and not look down on it. You know how it is, like a lot of filmmakers are not interested in TV, and I always try to convince them. And I grew up on Brazilian cinema, and they're such incredible, truly incredible Brazilian filmmakers. But on television, it was, through the years, you know, it was mostly soap opera, but the beautiful thing is that even I look at the amazing things that Globo is doing, for example. They are very bold when doing the soap opera to try and reinvent genres and cross genres and try things and try different things. And this is if we will, the main thing would be if we ask ourselves every time we create a story, a new show, if we ask ourselves what is new about this one, what is the thing that had never been done? It's either a unique voice, or a unique genre, or cross-genre, or a unique setup, a place you've never been before. The good thing is, like, unlike the past where America was only doing American shows to American audience on American. Right now, I think the beautiful thing is that the American audience wants to travel. Like, the American audience wants to wants to be in a Brazilian story, right? And the fact that, by the way, not only I mean, I'm talking about you haven't seen a major big Brazilian story on primetime TV in the U.S. I'm sure you will. But even the Latin voice, it's so strange. You have so many minorities in the U.S. that are being shown on drama in such a beautiful way with nuances, but you haven't truly seen a lot of the authenticity and the uniqueness of the Latin voice in America, although LA right now is more than 50% Latin, so so strange.
And one of the things that we have specifically here in Rio, we have some of the most beautiful postcards in the world.
Yeah.
But we are not publicizing it enough. Like if you get like 8% of the blockbusters right now, they are shot and they show like London or China, and we don't have this here in Brazil. What is that? That's one thing that we also can bring Hollywood to here, right?
And I'm sure it will happen, because Hollywood is always like about trying to figure out that, oh, this is already boring for the audience to be in London. They've seen so much of London, they want to travel. This is also Gen Z who see themselves as citizens of the world and want to see themselves. But I think that the issue with also bringing physical production to Brazil would require even more intense tax credits. Eventually, all of us are forced to film in countries that give you tax credits. In Colombia, for example, is now giving 40% tax credits, and suddenly then everyone in LA says, when I'm bringing them a Argentinian story, they're saying, yeah, but please film it in Colombia, because of tax credits, right? So it is also this issue. It's funny because it's the era of the CFO. It's like the chief financial officer takes the calls in our industry, unfortunately.
Yeah, we had that with Fast and Furious. Yeah. It was set in Brazil, but they showed they filmed it in Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a bad thing, and it's not like original. We as Brazilians we see that this is not real. But you said one thing at the panel that it was mind blowing for me about the subtitles. Because we always hear that the Americans don't like to watch anything with subtitles, but that's changing, right?
Yeah, it's amazing to see how the young people in the US, because they're multitasking, they're watching the series and texting simultaneously and doing 10 different things at the same time, they got used to putting subtitles in English when they watch an American show. And it made them more open to reading subtitles. And now when you see this generation, you give them the opportunity to look at a Brazilian show, either dubbed or subtitled. A lot of them, I think now, these days, most of the young people would choose to do the subtitles and not the dubbed, because it doesn't bother them, unlike their parents, right? The older generations were never agreeing to read subtitles. So it's also a good thing. There are a lot of good things to celebrate right now. I think the TV industry is going, the drama industry is going to such incredible places globally.
And well, talking a little bit about Euphoria, you said during the panel as well that with the budget of one episode in the US, in the HBO, you could have 3 to 4 episodes.
No, 5 seasons.
5 seasons?
Yeah, the original show, so I think the original show was 4% of the budget of the American show. And it was very hard, because part of the things when you create a show about Generation Z, you say, okay, I need to capture their short attention, the short attention of the generation. So you want to do 100 scenes per episode, but you have a budget in the original version. You had a budget of 17 scenes per episode, not 100 scenes per episode. Or you want, the idea of the DNA says that we have an ensemble show, and you want a constant moving camera that is the glue. It never stops. So you have the constant moving camera that is the glue between the scenes and between the plot lines and between the very different cast members and characters. Now, you couldn't do that in the original version. So it was, for me, it became I was obsessed with, we need to do this show in the US as well. And the idea of Train Spotting, Meet, Kids, Elephant, Gus Van Sant, Larry Clark, we want to do this as well in the US. And right now, and again, now we'll have the chance to do it right.
So you can use this idea, this dream, make it happen as a pilot. It's
exactly.
Sort of a pilot, right?
Yeah. So we now finished we now finished a show about a juvenile jail, jail with kids between 12 to 18-year-olds. And I pitched it like for 10 years, and everyone said no to it because they thought it was too dark. No one wants to see kids in jail. Then we figure out that we found a true story about a kid who was a comedian, truly a stand-up comedian, who he was in jail, and he grew up to be a comedian in jail. So the jail is very dark, but it is wrapped with him as a mature comedian looking back on his past. Mm-hmm. So then it was a cross-genre that everyone was really curious about. Everyone said, "Oh, it's a cross-genre that no one did before us. But we insisted on doing a very initial version, a Middle Eastern version, very as a tape, very authentic. And every streamer that came and said, we want to buy this, we said, okay, you want to do a huge American show with the DNA? First of all, buy our tape, show our tape, our original story, and then treat this as a pilot for your large. You'll take the Bible and the DNA and recreate it. And I love that this is also the globalization we're talking about, because when I create a show and then it is remade in Korea and I fly over, I'm not trying to teach them how to do it. The opposite. I'm trying to learn from them what interpretation they're bringing into it, and I watch it, and it's like, it's a dream come true. How you see, so all of our profession is kind of a bridge to authenticity, right, and to empathy. And
empathy is one word that you use it a lot as well. It's very important to put yourself on the skin of other people and see what the problems are, what their dreams are, and that's how you build big TV, right?
And the sad thing is that Hollywood today will tell you, oh, you're a Brazilian, you cannot write a Cuban. If you're from Madrid, you cannot write a Cuban, of course. And I think this is a very sad thing. And happily, like in Europe, no one tells us this. You want to be your alter ego. You want to write someone who is exactly the opposite of you. You want to write someone you've never been or you are very attracted to, but you want to understand the others. Uh-huh. It's not, if you're writing about only yourself, you're truly caring only about yourself. It's just the idea that Hollywood promotes kind of not just kills creativity, but kills the whole idea of empathy is writing. Writing is empathy.
Just to finish, you said about creativity. I had this dream that during the pandemics, all the writers were locked down and dreaming of things that they could be doing at that time and in their next future. Do you think that in the next years we're going to have different scripts being made with different ideas, and this will open both to cinema and TV? With different ideas, different shots.
Yeah, I'm sure it already, I think it's happening. I believe you can see it. I meet writers. Sometimes I'm asking a writer, well, how come you had 2 shows this year? And both of them are trying something bold, new. Like, and they're saying, yeah, well, I was locked down in the pandemic, and it was, yeah, I truly believe in it. I am worried in a sense that everything that is going on in the world right now, and including the pandemic, but so many other things, are creating a young generation that is more pessimistic about the future of the world than any other generation in history, and worried about the future of the world. And so you're right, you're reading what they're writing, and it's very dark, and it's very pessimistic about the world, and kind of we need to use writing as a tool to like look for the solution, and we must keep on believing that art can transform the world with the truth, and we must use art to put a mirror up to our face as writers and to the audience's face, and make sure that we are disturbed and we are trying to be better, and so it's kind of the existential threat that we had during the pandemic, and everything that you're facing now in Brazil as natural disasters, and everything that will happen in our lifetime should like force us to, if we're worried about the future or worried about our lives, just try to use writing to create impact.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure. And
so good to
please
be
come
here.
back to Brazil anytime you want.
I hope I will. Thanks.
Cheers.
Cheers.